You don't belong here. Honey, this isn't a fundraiser. The words slashed through the dry, dusty air like a knife, drawing smug snickers from the nearby construction crew. Sarah kept moving forward, her left leg dragging slightly, encased in a titanium brace that creaked faintly with each step. She didn't falter, didn't slow her pace, though her jaw tightened just a bit, like a soldier enduring enemy fire. Around her, heads turned, hard hats shifted, and the murmurs began, humming like static. Who's she? What's she doing here? Look at that limp, someone muttered, loud enough to reach her ears. Thought this was a work site, not a recovery center. Another man, in dusty jeans and oversized gloves, sneered as he tossed a wrench into a toolbox. Lost a leg, not your damn pride, he said, sparking loud, careless laughter from the others, as if this were a spectacle for their entertainment. Sarah paused, just for a moment, dust swirling at her feet. She closed her eyes, not in shame, but in control. In the silence that followed, the sharp rhythm of synchronized footsteps approached from behind, boots striking the ground with precision and purpose. 5 figures emerged through the morning haze, cutting through the sight like an advancing strike team. They were Navy SEALs, no warning, no vehicles, no fanfare, just presence. Their uniforms were crisp, postures rigid, eyes unyielding. They didn't need to declare themselves. The trident patches on their chests roared louder than any words. Lopez led them, a towering figure of intensity, stepping beside Sarah and scanning the crowd with a gaze like cold steel. You boys mocking a Marine? He asked, his voice slicing through the air. Every smirk vanished, the tension shattering like brittle glass. Garcia, standing just behind Lopez, removed his cap, his eyes locking onto the crew with calm, deliberate devastation. That honey you laughed at, he said. She dragged 3 of us from a burning convoy in Kandahar, shrapnel tearing through her side, while carrying a wounded kid on her shoulder. He let the words linger, heavy and unyielding. She's the reason I'm still here. A cough tried to rise in someone's throat, but choked before it could escape. Carter, the team's medic, gestured towards Sarah's leg brace. That titanium? Military grade. Precision. Resilience. Pain you can't even fathom. She walks on metal forged in combat. What are you walking on, your ego? Sarah finally turned, her face not burning with anger, but radiating purpose, power. You judged me before I said a word, before I showed you a single blueprint, before you saw the designs I sketched with one hand while tethered to morphine. She stepped forward, her boots crunching softly in the dirt, moving into the center of the group that had mocked her moments before. I fought for this country. I left a piece of myself behind doing it. Now I'm here to rebuild the very place I bled for. If that makes you uneasy, she paused, not for theatrics but for impact, her eyes sweeping the crowd. Feel free to punch out. The SEALs stood motionless, their presence a silent fortress behind her, a formation that declared she was never alone and never had been. Some workers stared at their boots, suddenly engrossed in the dirt. One muttered an apology, another reached awkwardly for her gear. The atmosphere had shifted entirely. The humiliation now turned on the mockers. Sarah didn't revel in it. She nodded, calm, composed, then turned and walked toward the site trailer, flanked by 5 of the world's most elite warriors, who followed not out of obligation but out of respect. Behind them, shame lingered in the air like smoke. The men who had laughed now stood quiet, replaying every word, every snicker, every moment they thought they were superior. They hadn't mocked a weak woman that morning. They'd mocked a decorated Marine, a hero who had already done more for them than they could ever comprehend. Never judge someone by their limp. That limp might have marched through hell to earn the right to stand where you stand. If this story moved you, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a karma in the comments below.